I want to thank President Trump personally for his personal commitment and leadership to achieve this breakthrough. He's a tough negotiator, but he is also a deal maker.
We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal, it's a huge deal. It will bring stability. Basically, the European market is open. It's 450 million people. So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal. You're known as a tough negotiator and deal maker. What is in front? And fair.
Okay, that's President Trump with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen at Trump's Turnberry Golf Resort in Scotland. Again, the EU will agree to buy $750 billion worth of U.S. energy, plus invest $600 billion in the U.S. That means EU companies are going to do that, and we're going to wait and see on that one. The EU will pay 15% to the U.S. on almost all exports, around triple the 4.8% tariff now. That's way more than the 1.6% they pay on a trade-weighted basis, plus 0 for 0 tariffs for things like aircraft parts, chips equipment, and certain farm products and more. Joining us now from House Foreign Affairs, Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, always a pleasure to see you again. We're hearing even more trade deals will be coming in ahead of Trump's tariff deadline of August 1st. Trump says he'll do a blanket tariff of 15 to 20% if nations don't come in and do a deal. Let's show the nations who have yet to come in. What do you think, Congresswoman?
Look, I know President Trump. I've seen him in action, and I can tell you, also being a member of the House Democracy Partnership and traveling around the world meeting with these countries, I can tell you that they're all very eager to negotiate. They want access not just to the United States, but they also understand that we are better, more reliable trading partners than China. And so I have all the faith in President Trump to bring home the deal. Look, he doesn't like not winning, so I think we're in a good spot here in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S., the EU together, 43% of the world's gross domestic product. The Financial Times reporting an ambassador said there's no hiding the fact the EU was steamrolled by the Trump juggernaut. Trump got where their pain threshold was, got a great deal for America. The French prime minister is mad. He's saying this is a capitulation. What do you say?
I was reading through The Guardian earlier today, and I think I saw the comments from the French government was sacré bleu. They're completely upset that he won, but he ultimately comes out as a winner on top of this. And I can tell you, too, when we were there, they're saying, look, the European market cannot lose access to American produce, specifically tomatoes. And so they get their tomatoes, we get our cheddar, and we're good to go.
Okay, now, we'd like your reaction to this. You know, the president is putting the U.S. budget deficit in surplus. We got Q2 GDP coming in, the Fed's interest rate decision, July jobs coming in. But we'd like you to watch the former ambassador to the European Union. Watch this.
If everything that we imported bore a 15% tariff, that would generate about $450 billion for the United States Treasury, which would make an enormous dent in our annual deficit. At 15%, I think consumers will initially pay, but I also think that this will be baked into the profit margins or a reduction of the profit margins on a lot of these products because the market will start to pull prices back down again as there's more competition.
More competition means lower inflation, and he's fixing the U.S. budget deficit, Congresswoman. Final word.
Look, President Trump has, again, been more effective than, unfortunately, Congress, which is a good thing for the country, but it just means that we need to codify everything that he's doing, and I encourage the Speaker of the House to do just that once we return from break.
We'll stay on the story. Congresswoman Paulina Luna, thank you so much.